Welcome back to another episode of Edge of Midnight. We'd absolutely love it if you could like this video, subscribe to our channel, and check that bell so you never miss an episode. While you're doing that, I'm going to read some comments from episode 4 of Edge of Midnight. Quote number 1. I get the sense that Rich really likes lizard folk warlocks. Nah. Number 2. Once again, Nikki is not only a fantastic DM, but so creative in the way that she describes things that I physically react to the icky things she describes.
Thank you!
Number 3. Man, what an episode to be eating dinner to with all this gross stuff. And number 4. You guys are certifiably insane. I knew there was a reason I subscribed to this channel. Thank you. So, be sure to leave a comment below, and maybe yours will be picked next time. If you want to support the stream further, be sure to check out our Patreon, also check out the merch shop, and check out our folk horror 5th edition supplement called The Crooked Moon at thecrookedmoon.com today. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. We are Legends of Evantris. This is Tuesday, and we will see you in the mist. The words of the land has saved the once doomed province of Folsence. The words of the heart, too, as uncertain or even wicked as they may be. All that really matters is that they're true. Maybe, despite the hysteria that came over these poor unfortunate souls and the sins they committed against their neighbors and loved ones, there can be a happy ending, in a manner of speaking at least. But then again, who knows what yet lingers? You are all in Maggie McDuff's cottage in the woods. You have just finished a ritual in an attempt to cleanse this place of the evils that are deep within Folsence itself. And you do feel that your magic that you have created together has pushed out and made its way through Folsence, at least doing something. The extent of what the magic is capable of doing is you are uncertain of yet. But for now, as you peek outside of the doors and the windows, you see that those crooked trees and the crooked roots and the influence of Kellen seems to have subsided, at least in this area. You feel a sense of peace for once. A feeling of something right that you haven't felt in a long while. And all of you are able to breathe a sigh of relief as you go about cleaning up the ritual, putting things back into place. You chat with Maggie McDuff for a while. All of you help telling stories to Colette as you help her to fall into a very deep sleep. Nestled into her arms is the spirit familiar, Flora. All of this happened throughout the night until we come to this point. Maggie is getting tired and has decided to make her way to her living quarters and get some sleep, knowing full well that the next day you are all tasked with a large a large event. You will be taking the cart that she has, the large wagon, and filling it full of all of these vials, these boxes, or these crates filled with vials of the antidote to help clear the sickness of the mind that has been, the mind and body that has been putting the people of Full Sense, especially the children, into a slumber, a stupor that they're unable to wake from. It is going to be a long day, and you know that once you reach Cyril, you also have the incensed mob that had been riled up by William Van Brunt, not knowing his fate or what's transpired here. You're going to have to convince the civilians of Cyril to not attack Maggie Macduff or Colette on sight. It is going to be a difficult and hard day, and it is here in this moment that you find yourselves still in the living area of Maggie Macduff's cottage. She's gone to bed, needing as much rest as she can possibly get. You've been shown that this is a quite large cottage, significantly larger than Keziah Jenkins was. Not quite the extent of the Mirabelle's house in Cyril, but it is large and there are ample rooms for all of you. But in this moment, you find yourselves in the living quarters. Hot tea has been steeping. There is still food left over that was cooked late in the evening. And for the first time in a long time, you have time to talk, to decompress, to address things that have been taking up space in your mind, worries, fears. And then, if privacy is needed, you have rooms that you can utilize.
The horses are there.
The horses are hitched outside to a hitching post. They have been well fed, and they are doing as horses do.
I think she's asleep, finally. The poor child.
Do we think we should, fill her in on everything, or just sort of keep it where it is?
I think she's been through enough. She knows her parents are gone.
I guess, she doesn't need to know the gory details.
No, but she should. If it were me, I would want to hear as full a story as I could.
Well, that's sort of my question. Well, you know what? That's not my decision. I'll leave it up to all of you, holy folk, or better spoken folk, or, respectful folk.
Gosh, I just hope the little one's gonna be okay. She's looking mighty distant. I mean, I wouldn't blame her on account of what happened right in front of her eyes, and then the implied what happened not in front of her eyes. It's enough to turn anyone catatonic, I suppose.
We don't need to worry about it right away. We're all tired. We've had a long journey. I am hurt. I need rest. I suspect the same of all of you.
I could use the rest as well.
I suppose too. Especially after that ritual, I'm feeling a little out of sorts for some reason. Do you think that crooked teeth lady is gone for good?
That was my question as well. There is no way to know, and yet something tells me that we won't see her again for some time.
I hope not. That was mighty spooky.
If we're lucky, we've bought ourselves some time, especially the people of Cyril. Is she gone for good? I doubt it. But hopefully we've accomplished something here.
And we have more to accomplish. We must get this antidote to Cyril.
Well, thank goodness we brought such charming, capable horses. Otherwise, I don't know how we would have gotten a whole wagon full of bottles and beakers. all the way through the woods and down the road, all the way in the city.
Are all the NPCs, are they all in bed? Are they all
Yeah.
gone?
For the sake of us starting this late, yes. But anything you might have a question about, I can give you a quick rundown of what you talked about while they were awake.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like every time we do one of these ritual things, I mean, it seems real powerful stuff. You know, like, if we're gonna have to fucking convince all those townspeople to, you know, not murder these people on the spot, maybe we just have, you know, wheel them out and, you know, have her do magic. I feel like she's twice as powerful as everybody else we've met this whole time.
Won't that have the opposite effect? When they say, oh, burn the witch, throw her in a river.
I think Jericho might be right. What I'm hoping is that by delivering the medication, they'll see that she's doing good. As soon as the medication begins to work, the townspeople will be won over.
Yeah, that's fair.
We'll spread our own propaganda. Yes. We'll undo the deadly pamphlets of Percy Phipps.
Phipps.
Now that he got dragged into those gnarled roots, he ain't gonna hurt no one ever again, Briggsy. You can rest easy.
Oh, his end was too easy. He was too quick. He should have suffered more. You think like it took a while for him to get digested under those trees, you know what I mean? Sort of like a Venus flytrap style. You think it took like a few hours?
Perhaps even more. I wonder if it was the last time we will see Van Brunt, given his fate.
Well, I would certainly hope so. His neck got popped like a champagne cork. And he got shoved into a big old tree mouth. Miss Lethica,
Indeed.
What are you presuming? I'm actually a little shaky.
I am talking, facing away from the group, because I'm facing the cupboards. I'm familiarizing myself with the kitchen, and I'm starting to find the makings for tea. I've put a kettle on, and seeing that we'll probably be talking a little while longer, I'm going to make a cup for everyone.
I believe, Jericho, what Lethica is saying is that sometimes dead things don't stay dead.
Well, I'm gonna hope that we can weave into our propaganda that William Van Brunt is gone and dead forever and is never coming back, and he's not missing, he's not presumed missing. He got killed shitting his pants.
Tea?
Oh gosh, thanks.
So you telling me that we could see the return of Phipps?
No, that's preposterous.
Is that what you're telling me?
We should be ready for anything.
And you're telling me?
I look at Briggsy, and then I look at myself, and I look back to Briggsy, and I just kind of motion at him and his being.
Well, I mean, yeah, sure. I don't know about you, but me personally, I don't think I, like, died and then turned into this. It was sort of like I was cursed and then turned into this. You know what I mean? Like, it's
That
all
seems
like
like a maybe not quite an important distinction.
Oh, I guess you're right.
Do you drink tea?
I mean, why not? Sure. It's slightly pleasant.
Your Grim? Marius?
Yes, thank you.
Thanks.
Why would you think that it might be coming back?
I think that we only diminished its power here, whatever this entity is. We were able to stave it off with the ritual that Maggie helped us prepare and perform. But that does not mean that it is gone forever. And it does not mean that we won't see it again.
Where do you think it went if it did go just run away from these woods?
Perhaps woods is what it is attracted to. There are perhaps many other forests in Druskenwald. I do not know the area well enough to say, but I'm just trying to ready everyone's mind so that we can continue to survive.
Well, you know what? Maybe we can get a little more information from Macduff in the morning. She probably knows a hell of a lot more about the ritual than we do, and, maybe she can sense it or, speak to the trees and learn about it or something.
It's a good idea.
Well, she needs to rest. That's a healthy amount of magic she used. I mean, all we did was just kind of participate a little bit, burn some things. I just did a very quick impromptu little ditty. Lighting candles. I'm feeling awful out of sorts, though. I think I need to lay down, and by that I mean be propped up in an old broom closet. I'm gonna turn in if y'all will excuse me.
Maybe you can dream up a bit of a song to aid us tomorrow.
Ooh, a bit of a propagandizing song. I'll
You keep using that word, propaganda.
Yeah, sure.
Do you think it'll work?
Well, I think
Given
so.
that they all think we're terrible monsters.
Well, I think that if there's anyone that likes a jaunty tune, it's townsfolk. And we got a whole lot of townsfolk. And now, especially if they're no longer going to be sick and hungry, their minds, especially after experiencing such terrible traumas, should be very malleable. Not in the malevolent, not in like a malicious sort of way. I mean, for good. We can twist their minds for good. Anyway, gosh,
Jericho,
I don't know what I'm talking about.
I agree with you. Their minds are malleable. And propaganda may be what is best for them. The sway that Van Brunt had over them, that is something to consider. If we are going to deal in propaganda, perhaps his death can be used to our advantage. Perhaps he is off chasing monsters, but he wants everyone to know that he has found this antidote, and that it is for the civilians. Only we know that he is perished.
Oh gosh! I was worried someone was going to bring that up. And then we'd have to pretend that he died a martyr of sorts, and we were his best chums.
No, Jericho. I am saying that we lie. We do not tell anyone that he is gone.
Oh, but then aren't they going to just be waiting? Gosh, well,
And all the rest of them. I mean, it wasn't just him, it was like 20, 30 guys, and they're all dead.
If we're going to spin stories, that may be the best way to spin it.
I'll leave it up to you all, but all I'm saying is, if we turn that guy into a fucking martyr, that whole town gets away from us. I think at that point it'll be past saving.
I think that it's all the concept of bread and circus, so to speak. We show up with the bread and the circus, and we show up with the antidote, and they're going to forget about Van Brunt just infinitely. You control the information, you control the needs of the people, they'll fall right in line and obey.
That is what I am saying.
I think what we need is a bit of proof, though. Is there anyone that would be on our side, be willing to take the antidote from us and prove that it works? Get the other ones who don't trust us on board.
I mean, we know of people that were sick, right? Dungeon Master?
Mm-hmm. Well, and you also know that, the sickness would come on suddenly, and how they would get it is unclear. But you'd seen it in animals. It's possibly from the water, from the soil, from the earth itself. You know that the centipedes that were being controlled seemed to carry it throughout the land as well, and that people in Cyril were very emaciated, clearly hungry, clearly tired, and clearly sickly. Any of them could be carrying it, and it just hasn't triggered yet.
Do we get the impression that, or do we learn that maybe this antidote will also cure their livestock?
I would say you imagine that it would, yes.
Well, perhaps we just find some of their sickly livestock and we administer the medicine to them first. If it's fast enough acting, the citizens will see that it works.
Like a demonstration.
Yes.
I think that's wise.
We'll be veritable heroes. We'll be heralded as great heroes and the saviors of the town, finally.
I think it'll be enough just not to be on their kill list, frankly.
They'll allow us to point any kind of puppet lord or monarch of our choice, and we can pull the strings in the shadows.
Heroes. To be lauded.
Correct?
Maybe.
First, we, the enemy, have to convince them to drink the antidote, the medicine. We know it will do them what is good. But they will not trust us delivering this medicine.
Gosh, maybe I need a little bit of medicine.
More tea?
Oh yeah, I should drink some tea. Oh, it's all in my F sack. Sorry. Oh, the old filthy sack what approximates the skin of my head.
Oh, your head sack. This is an egg sack.
Oh, F sack,
sack.
the filthy sack. I call it the old F sack for short. Don't you recall?
I also heard egg
It's been
sack,
a year and a half.
and I was just gonna let it slide.
I couldn't. That was an involuntary.
I'll take one for the road, and I'll just post up in that old closet filled with all sorts of mysterious reagents and probably a bunch of secrets.
Well, you get some rest. You're acting a bit strange there.
Oh, I think it's just been a long day for all of us. All of us are acting strange, especially Marius. Remember what happened?
If we're talking about room situations, it's probably best that I room with Briggsy and Briggsy alone.
Yeah, that's true. We don't want to let him loose on account of what he did to Miss Lethica. You don't want to lose control.
Right.
Oh,
When
you
he,
mean?
when he leaped down and remember when that happened?
Well, I mean,
Gosh, that was terrifying.
I don't think we need to relive it.
oh, because my blood's basically just grey sludge. Doesn't really taste very good, I would imagine. This is what I'm thinking.
Have you ever had a taste, just out of curiosity,
Of blood?
of your grey sludge blood?
Oh, well, I mean, I can't really taste very good, but I'd have to imagine it's fucking disgusting.
Blood? Well, it's not so bad, really. I mean, it tastes about the same as any other blood, really.
My blood?
Oh no, like people's blood.
No, I meant, and she meant my
Oh.
blood. If you could even call that
When
call
did you
that
taste
blood.
people's blood?
Oh, well, I mean, there's a lot of aftertaste after you black out and lose control. There's a whole bunch of feathers and body parts around you.
Right.
After you've had hag blood, everything else is kind of more of a delicacy, you know what I mean?
Huh.
Well,
All right, well, we should retire. Which room are we staying in?
Your pick, please.
Oh, and I scamper where the rooms are. I call a left bed, and I jump in the beds, and claim, or whichever bed's bigger, I guess. But it's the one on the left.
Perfect. You do that. It's easy enough. You pick, all the rooms are basically the same size. In each one of them, there is a larger bed and a smaller bed. And you jump into the left bed and begin to relax. And Jericho, you make your way into the apothecary closet and you move aside some of the jars marked with various herbs and tinctures and medicinal reagents, and you find a nice cozy spot to stand and snooze.
Miss Lethica, you've had quite a day. Are you okay with me sharing a room with you?
Of course, why would I not?
I just didn't know if you maybe wanted some space. But
I think I will stay up for a bit longer. I need rest, but I do not yet want to go to sleep.
do you want some company?
No. No, thank you. I think I would prefer to be alone with my thoughts.
I understand.
If that's okay.
I just want you to know, I'll keep an eye on you. He won't get you tonight or any other night. Marius.
You understand that this isn't my intention. All right, well, if there's nothing left for us to discuss, I suppose I'll retire as well.
I'll go to one of the rooms and lay down.
I will. As soon as Farron walks off, I will get up and walk towards the room that Briggsy went into.
Marius?
I'll stop.
What's happening?
Yes, Lethica.
Am I safe?
Are you safe?
Yes, if I had to ask you 2 questions, it would be one, will I turn? I do not know very much about the magic that sustains you. And now that I have this, what will become of me?
Speaking quite frankly, I've never bitten another humanoid before. I was stalwart in my resolution. I was able to avoid the cravings. What happened in that moment was something supernatural, and that is not to say that I am passing blame or giving excuses. It is to say that I don't know. Now, what I will say, what happened to me felt like death thousands of times over. Did you feel that?
Perhaps not 1,000, no.
Then you may be safe. I may not have the ability to pass on this vampirism.
Marius, we cannot have this conversation here within earshot. Will you join me outside?
Oh, okay. Good night, then. I'll sleep in the living room.
Jorgen goes off his own room.
Sure.
I'm just picturing this whole thing in Jorgen just
I need to clear my chakras. I'm gonna go meditate.
And then his sorry guy.
He's literally just sitting there like.
He's holding his shovel.
He just leans up against the wall and pretends to be asleep.
Okay.
Yes, I will join you outside. Perhaps we can get some fresh air.
Will you make another pot of tea? I will see you on the porch.
Sure. Give me but 5 minutes.
I will
Yeah?
make my way outside.
And I'll go make tea. For 2.
Oh my. Oh god.
Do your thing. Once the tea is ready, and once you're done passing each other secret notes, I'm gonna go outside, and I'm gonna go to where Lethica has requested me to meet her.
You do. The moon is high in the sky. It is very late at this point. It is witching hour, easily, and it is quiet. It's honestly peaceful. You once again hear the sounds of the forest all around you. The forest had become eerily quiet when Kellen extended her reach out towards this cabin, and with that gone, the life in this forest is returning. And though you feel comfortable here, the light from the fire that's roaring in the hearth and the candles that illuminate the cottage do spill out and illuminate this clearing a little bit. Where you're at, you feel safe. But deep within the forest, you can hear something big, something large, lurking, pacing, circling. Can't be sure of what it is, but it sounds oddly familiar to something that you've heard before. The beast that stalks the woods. It knows you're here, and it waits. So you know you're safe where you are now. But it's best not to go too deep into the forest.
I would exit the front door, hoping to see Lethica maybe on a front porch or something.
I'll have gone over to the side of the stairs where there's a little railing.
Yeah.
And you'll see me, and you'll see that my mask is not on. My hair is down, all the way down to the back of my waist. And I will be looking out at the woods, listening to this sound.
I will take the tea kettle, and if there's a small table or a ledge that I could put it on, I'll put it down between us, and then I will take...
Yeah, there's an adequately sized porch with some seating options, and there's a small table there that you can, where Maggie would in the mornings, enjoy some of the early morning moonlight and have breakfast, and you're able to set up a base there and sit down together where you feel like you're well out of earshot of everybody.
I would put the tea kettle down at the table then, and not sitting down at any of the seating available, stand a good distance from Lethica, more than 6 feet away. It would be an unnatural, weird kind of distance that I'm putting between us. And I say, the tea is finished.
Good. Thank you, Marius.
Of course.
I wanted to speak for a moment, not just about my fear of what might become of me, and thank you for telling me. That was very important. But also, I wanted to understand more about what drove you to do such a thing.
Well, I can certainly sit here and try to justify it all that I want. And I suppose I can tell you that story, but it depends. Are you going to slap me again?
No, I should not have slapped you. That was not me. It was... I had been hurt. It was a shock. And so I overreacted.
Don't worry. I'm not saying I didn't deserve it. It's just... things were tense, is all. Let me start from the beginning. We were finishing the heat of battle. Everyone was gravely wounded. The moment that I realized that Briggsy had finished off the Archbishop, I began taking off my gauntlets, hoping to administer aid to whomever needed it. Farron immediately rushed to Jericho. Quite frankly, all I could think about was you. So I rushed to your side as soon as I figured everything was all right. As I attempted to lay on hands, call forth the Morning Lord, I had a vision. I was no longer there in the ruined rubble of that church. I was back again that night with the Duchess. I saw her face, her red glowing eyes. The next thing I know, I'm back there in the church, biting you. It's unexplainable, and there's no excuse. There's no justification for any of this. But I was not there in that moment, and it seems like something so far beyond anything that I have experienced, holy or otherwise. I cannot say that my actions were not my own. I will take responsibility for what I have done. I have to live with this.
Marius, in some ways I consider it a compliment that I would be the one that you would not be able to hold back for. But
The loss of control. I'll start to walk forward. Is what concerns me. That you lost yourself. It could happen again at any time.
If you get within 5 feet of me, I take a step back.
I'll brush my hair back and expose my neck. And I'll walk forward, raising my hand to gesture to my neck. Marius, we have to know if you could lose control again.
Lethica, please. Please. Let me finish. Up until that moment, I have spent decades resisting any urges that I had. And in the beginning, they were very strong. Since this incident, something has changed. Even now, here, outside this cottage, I can hear Farron's heartbeat. I can feel the blood as it moves through Yorgrim's veins. I can sense everything. And it's extremely difficult to ignore. And I'd be lying if I said that I didn't like it a little bit.
I understand. That is why I approach. That is why you must prove that you can resist, that you can overcome this.
Even if I manage to do that right now, there's nothing saying that I won't slip up again in the future. It's in my nature.
Don't bite me then, and I will start to walk forward towards you and continue to gesture towards my neck.
Lethica, no. And I'm going to take a few more steps back until presumably there's some sort of railing and I can no longer back away any farther.
It happens a lot sooner than you would expect. You are backing away. It's almost as if time stands still. You see the 2 puncture wounds in Lethica's neck where your sins have yet to be erased by time. You see these small circles of dried blood that still haven't fully flaked away. You see that vein as it throbs with every beat of her heart. Boom, 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 boom. You hear it in your head. The smell is intoxicating. And you stumble backwards as you collide with the railing, and you realize you can step backwards no further.
I'll keep my hand out, even if you keep moving forward, and I'll say, Lethica, please, what, do you think this is a game? Stop.
It is no game. I am asking for you not to bite me for my own protection, Marius. You are a good man. I know you will be able to resist. Please. Just a moment, and then we can enjoy our tea.
I would just keep my hand out, and if you are walking forward, eventually my hand would hit you, and I would try to prevent you from getting any closer.
I will stop just before your hand.
You would see that my outstretched hand is trembling, for sure. The muscles in my neck are strained. I'm clearly biting down just on my own teeth. It is never my intention to hurt any of my friends. Ever. But seeing that you're not moving or doing anything, I will just slowly try to put my hands down to my side.
And I will stare maskless into Marius's eyes for a heartbeat. Another. Just trying to get a sense if he's going to lose himself again. Just getting a sense if he's going to suddenly attack.
I would be breathing very heavily. Almost not quite ragged, but like, you can tell that I'm struggling, for sure. And maybe it's not necessarily, I think you'd get the sense that it's not necessarily like the feeling that I'm going to lunge at you. There's a fear there, and just like a pain of guilt for what had happened. It's not just, the struggle isn't just Marius holding himself back. There's fear, and there's doubt, and there's regret.
Marius,
Very good. I do not mean to tease you. I just had to know for myself and for everyone that you had not lost yourself. And it seems that you are still able to look into the mirror. And you will watch as I begin to darken and shift and fade and sink back. And what you realize is that the Lethica you'd been staring at has this entire time been my illusory duplicate in illusion.
Well played. As soon as I see this happen, the tenseness from my body will immediately release. I'll put one hand on the railing and almost like,
From behind the side of the house, around the other side of the deck, I will emerge. Still masked, still in my riding clothes, which had not been the case with this illusion. And I will walk forward. Now, let us enjoy some tea and quiet. Thank you, Marius.
well played. I never suspected a thing.
I do have some tricks up my sleeve.
I hope you'll allow me to say one final thing.
Please, and I will finally pick up the tea as it's cooling.
I'll walk over to the teapot and I will not yet sit down, but I'll put one hand on the back of one of the chairs as I'm watching Lethica drink this tea and say, I am genuinely sorry for what happened.
Thank you. And I am sorry for slapping you.
I will say nothing else. I'll sit down and pour myself a cup of tea and take a sip.
The air is cool. A gentle breeze rolls through the night, and with it the scent of Lethica's blood. And yet you feel in control. Something about this interaction proved to you at least a little bit that you are not what you were made to be. You are more than that. It's going to take work, and you may not always be able to control it. But tonight, you succeeded. And tonight, you are safe.
When I finish my tea, I'll wish Marius a good night and feeling comfortable enough to rest, join Farron in our room.
I would only linger for maybe an additional 20 minutes. Just finally having a moment to myself to truly regain my composure and process what happened, and then feeling that everything's kind of safe and settled. I would join Briggsy in our room and go to bed.
And changing out of my rider outfit, Farron, I assume you're... yeah.
There's a scrying eyeball outside the whole time.
I don't know if this is a question for the DM.
You hear my hopes like I'm trying to
Or
get
for
away
you
from the
guys,
door.
how long are you guys out of the cabin?
An hour?
I would say an hour.
Yeah.
Did Virgil hear all of that?
Yeah.
Oh.
The second that they would have been outside, and Virgil would have had eyes on them, in the closet, I will use my Demon of Secrets and cast invisibility on myself. As I will, with a quick little ding, 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 and suddenly Jericho's vision or visage will disappear. And I would like to endeavor, while invisible, knowing that, Jericho, or Virgil knowing that Jericho has no blood, that Marius can sense, would like to try to find some sort of tome of spells, of the source of the power that we just saw Maggie McDuff use.
You're looking for a spell book.
Yes, I'm looking for a spell book. If she has something, or if it's a grimoire, or if it's a collection of whatever, that's what I'm looking for.
Okay, roll an investigation check.
I'm not going to use a twist.
You are endeavoring to look everywhere.
I am endeavoring to look everywhere, and as long as the crow outside has eyes on both of them, I will take as much time as I need.
Okay, perfect.
And if there's anything else that I discover, I only got an 11 for investigation. And if I need to roll stealth, I can do that as well.
Yes, please roll a stealth check for me.
Advantage because I'm
Invisible.
You enjoy that. Stealth will be a 27.
Okay. You are not very good at looking. There's no other way to say this. You're not very good at looking, but you have the shadows on your side as you sink into them and disappear from view. You have exhaustion on your side as Maggie Macduff sleeps deeply, finally feeling comfortable and safe, knowing that all of you are in this home with her, not expecting treachery of any kind.
Silly girl.
You have Virgil's prying eyes on your side, knowing full well that you know where everyone is at this moment and can do as you please without being interrupted. And you have time on your side. An hour, which allows you to truly scour this place. And it is sneaking into Maggie Macduff's bedroom that on a pedestal you're able to find the book which you seek. A large leather-bound tome filled to the brim with spells, incantations, information. Everything she's ever learned from the moment she began practicing her craft, all crammed into this book. A book so old that as you flip through its pages, you realize that it wasn't just hers. It's a family's worth. It's a book with an entire lineage imprinted in it, from mother to daughter, to daughter to daughter to daughter. The entire line of Maggie Macduff's family is here in this book. And yet there's still pages unused, though the pages themselves are old and mottled. This book is brimming with information, thrumming with power. It is clear that this book is precious and sacred to her. As you hold it in your hands, knowing full well this is a severe invasion of privacy and trust.
As soon as I have it, the crow that would have been outside there'll be a very faint, there's just feathers left. And there's no longer any eyes out there. As taking a step back with the book, I will keep an ear out for Marius, for the rest of the party, and with eyes that rise up into the eye sockets with a 4-pointed star, just read as much as I can and consume as much of the information as I possibly can.
Roll an intelligence check to see how much information you can
Retain?
retain.
Holy shit. Well, this took a twist.
14.
Pretty good.
Are you starting from the beginning? Or
I think
are you
that-
starting from where Maggie began to add her own entries?
That would have been it. It would have been relevant for the immediate at hand, and then just maybe skimming whatever was beforehand.
You are able, I would say, percentage-wise, you're able to get about 70% of the information that Maggie has included.
Okay.
Also, Rich, the camera that's pointing towards you guys keeps flickering and going out for seconds.
Oh,
I think
And it's doing it consistently.
it just happened to the other side now.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Uh-oh.
I saw it in chat, and I've been trying to keep an eye on it to see if I could see what it was doing, and yeah, I just saw it.
Yeah, I don't know why.
And obviously...
It's ghosts.
Ghosts.
Yep. Happy Halloween, everybody.
And as obviously that's all invisible, but I'm describing what would happen in the reality of the world. And as soon as I feel like I'm pushing my luck, I'm not going to push any kind of luck. I'm not going to be reckless.
You hear Maggie let out a soft snore as she shifts from one side to the next. She mumbles something in her sleep, and you know that any small sound that you make could easily arouse her from her sleep. She is at some point in her sleep cycle that is softer than when you came in.
As soon as I feel like my luck has been pushed and not pushing it a second beyond as being as calculated as possible, it'll be a... And with the quick click, the book will be closed and attempted to be placed exactly how it was left, and just slipping out and getting back into the closet, dropping the...
Roll a sleight of hand to see how well you're able to put
dropping
it
the invisibility.
back exactly as it was.
Okay. I'm going to use this die. Cocked.
Yeah.
Sleight of
It
hand
was
use.
in the channel.
Yep. Thank you.
18.
Okay. You feel that you have done an adequate job of placing it exactly where it had been, though it's clear that she's used this book recently. The pedestal is worn from the years and years, decades of use by the Macduff family, by the women of the Macduff family. Clearly, this pedestal and this book go together, and there is a faint indentation and scratch marks where the book is continually pulled from the same exact place. It almost has its own little nestled spot on the pedestal, and you are able, you believe, to put it back exactly as it had been.
Do that with the... As I quickly slip out of the door, get back probably in the closet moments before Marius walks in.
Marius, you walk in and you hear a soft click for a second, and you look around, see nothing strange. Just out of curiosity, you open the cabinet door and you see Jericho there, just stretched out in his sleeping state. Must have been a trick of the night. Suspicion, but nothing more. As you make your way to the room that you and Briggsy plan to share, you open the door and find Briggsy is already fast asleep, drooling on the pillow there, completely unaware that you've been gone for an hour. He mumbles in his sleep about rum and
Classic.
rum and gold and treasure and thieving.
eggs.
Really bad eggs. And you make your way to the much smaller of the beds, and you pull the blankets up around you. The cabin is warm, but there's still it is drafty, and the wind whips in on occasion, and you shiver a bit to yourself as you tighten the blankets around you. The thoughts of the evening swirling in your head as you eventually, unless you plan to do anything more, drift off into a dreamless sleep. Well, that's like a very similar situation for you as well.
I'll change into some jams. You know, a nice onesie, something really comfy and cozy, and I'll big spoon Farron, and we'll pass out together.
That's perfect. Farron has chosen to replace the blanket on this bed with a blanket of woven moss, and it looks a little bit dirty.
It is.
But she seems warm, and you've had a rough night. And you give in to her peculiar ways as you climb beneath the moss with her and fall asleep. All of you find sleep. All of it is dreamless. And when you wake up in the morning, you feel well rested for the first time in a long while.
Hey!
Let's go.
Maggie Macduff is already in the kitchen making breakfast. The smells of food and fresh beverages waft through the cottage. You can hear the sounds of Colette talking to Flora, and Flora happily responding back, though Colette's voice still sounds distant and pained. She's not quite back to her old self, while Flora is as chipper as always. This is the scene that you come that you meet in the morning is each one of you, one by one, trickle out of your bedrooms and make your way to the main area of this house. You have all woken up after your dreamless sleep. The cottage smells of fresh food, newly steeped tea, the sound of Flora and Colette playing together can be heard throughout the entirety of the cottage. As you, one by one, begin to arrive into the main living space of this place, and you can see that Maggie Macduff has 4 hours been working to continually bottle up more and more of the potions, crate them, and with Flora and Colette's help has been taking them out and loading up the wagon outside. The wagon is about 20% loaded. They haven't had the full team. With your help, it should only take an hour or so to finish bottling and packing and loading the wagon, getting the horses bridled up and ready to make the trek to Cyril. But it's early. You have a significant amount of time, you feel, to get this job done, but that you do eventually need to make haste, as your plan is to arrive at Cyril midday, if not early afternoon.
Sorry.
Farron, are you okay? You may be getting a cold.
I think it's all the dust and the reagents in this cottage.
Perhaps it was this strange moss blanket underneath which we sleep.
No, I'm quite used to it. It's definitely not this pristine cottage.
Will you get my onesie?
Done. Sorry, I don't know what came over me.
We started getting ready.
I would be out early in the morning,
Great.
getting Witch Stomper ready for his journey.
Witch Stomper is very cheeky today. He has gotten used to you, and he definitely feels that he wears the pants in this dynamic.
Take your place.
Cheeky witch
How
stomper.
would a horse wear the
Would it be the front 2 legs or just the back 2 legs?
both legs? Both of them. Yeah. It's more like a middle chaps, where it's missing in the middle, but
That's a new
and in the
answer.
butt.
It's clever.
A middle
But
butt
everything else,
chaps.
yeah, middle and butt chaps. But he's definitely cheeky. You put the bridle on him, and then as you turn around to get the bucket of veggie scraps for him to eat, he rears back and kicks you in the back of your knees. You fall over.
My knee literally breaks down. I come around to the ground. Oh, you cheeky bugger! Got me again.
He seems to enjoy this, and you watch as he kind of jumps back and forth on his little legs, like kind of doing this.
I snap my
as he
leg back
jumps
in
around.
place.
He occasionally paws at the ground and tosses dirt directly into your face. He's definitely in a mood, but he seems happy, and it is rambunctious, but it is clear that he has affection for you as he nuzzles into you a little bit, and you feed him carrots before he bites at your pants, and they fall to your ankles as he snaps the belt.
We do a whole Three Stooges.
Yeah, exactly right.
He takes his hooves and like separates them.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
I'll get his sort of bridle or harness or whatever ready, and I'll look at him and I'll say,
Something's missing. Every vessel needs a good figurehead. Let me see what I got.
and I'll go through my inventory, and I'm like, 10 pounds of pussy gold rock. No, that's not gonna work. I got some crossbow bolts. What do I have that? A collection plate, the jawbone of St. Fulton Hammer, a Phipps wanted poke. No, here, this is perfect. I'm just gonna take out some random like silver statue of Fultus that I found in the cathedral that I stole, and I'm just gonna like wrap it around his harness and like around his neck a few times so that it's like jankily just like on his chest, trying to mimic a figurehead on a ship.
He doesn't seem to like it very much. He tries to move his head around to knock it off. He makes whinnying noises, but he's unable to dislodge it. And as you begin telling him that he is looking beautiful and regal and glorious, and he begins to really get into it. And then you start to notice that he begins to start strutting and puffing out his chest and wearing the statue proudly.
Oh, that's the attitude. Are you not a godly folk? Are you offended the fact that it's faultless? We could pretend it's somebody else, just like a silver guy.
You turn around to grab something, and he rears at you and pokes you in the ass with the statue. Not in the ass cheek, not the bottom. This is the bottom.
Saucy guy.
This is what, like... Oh, we stomper.
All fun and games until someone gets it in the butt.
Is there like a god of horses? Just anyway.
I met the butt cheek. Jesus.
And once I'm ready, I'll take him over to the wagon. I don't know how many horses we'll need to sort of pull the wagon, but I'll have him ready there for the rest to join.
It is getting to the point where it's fairly laden with crates of the potions. And you imagine it's going to take the majority of the horses. Witch Stomper isn't really going to be able to help much with it. So you you don't want him to know this. So you bridle him to the wagon in a way that he is not going to get in the way, but he will feel like he is doing the lion's share of the work. And he seems pretty proud of himself, feeling like he is the lead horse in this excursion. Though it's very clear that the others, Carlton, Chester, whatever the other horses' names were.
Frank.
Frank.
Shadow Frank. Buttercup, Dawn.
Buttercup, Dawn.
Dawn, yes.
Daffodil stay behind. Lucky
Daffodil
horse.
did stay behind.
Yeah.
The rest of them know that Witch Stomper really isn't doing much, but
You're doing a ton. You're doing so
but
well.
they play along.
It's Dawn and Witch Stomper, right? In the
Yes, they're leading, but only so that like Dawn can actually lead and Witch Stomper can feel like he's leading.
Yeah.
And, but
like-
you do notice that Witch Stomper likes to move in front of Dawn, and
Yeah.
Dawn just lets it happen.
Oh my
as
God.
Witch Stomper prances
fucking
forward,
love these horses.
making sure to always keep the head of the statue just a little bit in front of Dawn,
Yep.
so that Witch Stomper is always in the lead no matter what.
Perfect.
Yeah. And that's how you gear the horses up to the wagon, and the rest of the morning is loading and being able to communicate with Maggie.
I would be acting very normal today.
Yeah.
And non-suspicious.
I act like old Jericho
Yeah.
sticks.
Jericho, why are you acting so normal?
Gosh. Man, I had such a nice sleep. Well, I think I could get used to this on account of all of the decades of not having to sleep. And now suddenly I get tired and I need it. And I feel like I can get used to it. It's kind of a nice ritual where you're not left alone with your thoughts. And all that's left is the nice warm blanket of oblivion. You know what I mean?
I do, I think, maybe.
Gosh.
It's nice to hear you talk about it. I'm glad you're feeling better.
Thank you. I'm feeling a little bit less out of sorts than I was. I think probably on account of all that gross, rotten teeth and the like was just putting my non-stomach in a turntable situation, you know? Well, I suppose we need to be Miss McDuff's protectors when we get into town on account of them thinking she's an evil witch, and not Flora, but the little one is her transmogrified familiar.
It's not just Maggie we need to be concerned about, but also ourselves.
Gosh.
Right. Should we talk to her? Is she in here with us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's over at her the fire at the hearth, and she is stirring her cauldron, boiling more and more of the potion, and continuing to bottle it up, put it in crates, and leave those there for you guys to take. She seems like she would be happy to communicate should someone come over, but otherwise she's focused solely on the work.
If Maggie McDuff does not need to administer the potions herself, perhaps we don't even bring her into town.
I think you're right. She'd be safer here.
Now, I think we should ask her what she thinks and give her the opportunity, but we're going to be fighting an uphill battle regardless. They already think we're horrific monsters given the display that we put on before we left.
Exactly right. That
There's
is
no
like
place for a child either.
I mean, is out in the woods any better? I mean, what if that thing happens again?
What if the scary teeth lady comes back for revenge? Gosh!
We should talk to Maggie. We should see the strength of the power of what we did last night. Are you alright?
Maggie.
Did you have a question for me?
Clever.
Was there something I could help you with, Worthica?
Yes, I wanted to know, what can you tell us about the medicine you've been preparing? How is it administered, and is there a special ritual?
We've gone over this before already. You just drink it. That's how we figured out that it worked in the first place.
Do you need to be present at all?
I don't need to be present at all, but I'd rather not stay out here. I've been hiding in the shadows for a long time. With what you tell me is true, the Archbishop is gone, and that evil man, William Van Brunt's gone too. It's time for me to return back to town, to where I belong.
Our
To help
concern
with the children.
is
and-
that you may not be welcome.
And neither are you.
And that was precisely my point a while.
Jumps backwards for a moment.
Here's the thing. If we leave her out in the woods, A, she might get swallowed by gross teeth trees. But B, if we want to turn the public's opinion and do this little PR campaign that Jericho's suggesting, she should be there. She needs to gain all the goodwill.
I'm not
We can-
sure if you've looked at the little one much yet,
I haven't.
but she's not doing well. She needs to go home. She needs to sleep in her own bed. And she needs to face what's happened to her parents. And she can't do that out here in the woods. I know that it would be easy for the both of us to stay out here and hide from everything that's happened for just a little bit longer. But today's the day. We need to face what's truly happening.
We'll be sure to protect you no matter what happens. How long do you think these potions would take to take effect?
They're nearly instant.
Well, there we go. I think that if we can just prove, if we can get someone, some sort of subject to take one of these potions, we will prove its efficacy and absolve ourselves of any crime.
One of the things that I've learned about them since the last time that we had this conversation is it's not just curing the sickness, it's also rejuvenation. It heals their hunger. It helps the mind. It helps with grief. I've been feeding a small amount of it each night to Colette to help with her sadness.
And cures a hangover?
I'm sure it could.
Oh, they could really use that.
I think even if you could find someone that didn't currently have the active sickness, you could still prove that it's doing something good for the folks of Cyril.
I'm certain we can find someone.
What about the little girl and her brother in the town?
Yes, the children trust us, of course. The parents might object. We have to do our best to sway the public opinion.
Betty and Ben. They can be our little. Right? It was alliteration, I believe. It was. They can be our little helpers. There are inns in the town.
Right. And there may be more than a couple individuals who are looking for help, and they might just volunteer.
I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It's not. The people of Cyril can be damned stubborn, especially when they've got someone to target. They've been through a lot. They're hungry. They're scared. And if they can find someone to point the blame on, they're going to do it. It will be difficult. It will be dangerous. It will be scary. We've got to do whatever we can to protect that little girl. I'll put my life on the line for her. I'm not going to let anything happen to her ever again. But we've got to do this. Not just for us, but for Cyril.
Witch Stomper's ready to go. with a new getup and everything.
It looks like we've only got a couple more crates left to go before I'm all out of potion and we're ready to head into town.
I'm almost done.
Oh, thanks, Yorgrim. You're so helpful.
More work then.
Zug zug.
It's like Yorgrim has been standing here doing this. All the crates are right there.
Yeah, they're like
After like 6
teleporting
seconds.
into the.
A green bar.
Yeah, exactly.
Something needs
Something
doing.
need doing. Okay. I'm ready.
The wagon barely takes the tombstone's weight.
Is there anything else that we could use here in the house? Anything that we should take with us?
I've got a satchel of things I'm going to take myself. A few things I'd like to take back to the city. I plan to stay with Colette for a while in her house, help her to get, I guess, into a place that we could both live for a while. I think she would do well to live in her home, even with some of the memories that linger there. We can't stay out here in the woods forever. But only time will tell. We can always come back here if we need to.
All right. Well, who would like to take? Are you? Will you both ride in the wagon?
We should all ride in the wagon. With this many horses strapped to it, we should all be able to easily find a spot and it can carry us.
I'm not sure if Witch Stomper's going to be okay with that. I mean, he's used to having a rider.
If you feel like you need to ride upon your steed, I'm not going to stop you.
All right. I think I'll do that.
You can ride alongside all
You
of
might
us.
want to unhitch him from the front, though. I don't think he's going to be able to carry your weight.
I'll ride in the
Keep up with
wagon.
the rest of the horses.
He really likes helping and being in front, so I won't take that from him.
All right. Would you like to give him something to carry so he feels extra special?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If there's like something extra special that he could like, maybe Flora can ride on him.
I think that would be a great idea, or even Colette.
Oh, that's
She
a
might-
wonderful idea.
She might enjoy riding on a pony.
Oh no, she might actually accidentally or he might intentionally kick her in the face or something. And I don't want to. Oh, her neck's broken. Oops. I figure if he kicks Flora, she'll just go like poof and then come right back.
All right, if you say so. Is the little steed really that dangerous? He's not more than 3 feet tall.
Oh, he's just a cheeky scamp. He likes a good joke, a good prank. Sometimes he doesn't know his own strength, though.
Briggsy, your left foot is pointing the wrong direction.
Oh, is it? Oh, something did feel off. Let me reinforce that, and I'll take a few chunks of flesh from elsewhere and stick it around.
Like modeling clay.
That's horrific.
Oh, there we
that's
go.
horrible.
I'll bend my ankle.
I'll start working on some propagandizing tunes and getting the townsfolk all excited for Matron Macduff. She's the best around. Maggie Macduff is not a witch or a clown. Gosh, I gotta workshop that. We have the whole ride in the serial to really get it right.
I think you're onto something there.
Oh, thank you.
And it is with that you all find seats comfortably within the wagon. Flora does ride upon the back of Witch Stomper, and he seems to be very happy to have a rider, feeling just a step above the rest, being able to lead the charge and also carry a rider upon his back. And he makes the entire journey with his chest puffed out and his head held high. And the journey is easy, much easier than you would have expected to be, or you are unhindered in your journey back. There is a well-worn path that Maggie has taken from Cyril to her home many, many, many times. And this wagon has clearly traveled that path. With the help of this many horses and with all of your assistance, you're able to make fairly good time. It takes about 2 hours for you to make it from Maggie's cabin to Cyril itself. And you find yourself on the road leading directly toward the city. You hear that it is loud. There is a lot of noise coming from Cyril. And it's hard to tell from this distance what the noise is, but you hear shouts and you hear what is clearly some sort of a ruckus. And it does give you a little bit of pause. You know that this city was filled with angry mobs when you left, and you are walking right into the Viper's Den. Is there anything you would like to do before you reach the gates of Cyril?
As we've progressed down this path, has the sense of like calm and clear that we felt around the cottage persisted?
Mm-hmm. It has.
Oh.
You feel like the earth itself is breathing a sigh of relief as you make your way, and you do wonder if part of the unhindered journey is the fact that the magic that you did last night still lingers on everything here, almost blanketing the land around you. But you do feel that calmness.
Okay.
Do we pass a Cracker Barrel?
Yes. You do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to stop? I could go for.
No, we don't have time!
Oh, sorry. I
Are you gonna break it to Mary so they got rid of the Uncle Herschel special?
They did what?
They got rid of the Uncle Herschel special!
I'm just learning this for the first time.
And that's Mary's favorite!
Brixie, what did you just say?
Oh, he had me. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, no,
They did what?
I mean, I've read about it on a
IRL,
blog.
I can't believe you would bring that
My back, I fly to Cyril and I eat every human. I'm just kidding.
You just won somebody a bingo. I'm confident of that.
I am going to, change one thing, because I do want to do one thing before we go into, the gates, is that I would like to, I'm just making sure I can do this to all of my allies. Wait, what the hell?
And
Oh, no.
Lethica loved grits.
It's only 3 creatures. This sucks. I take it back. I don't want to. I was going to do something really cool, but I can only do 3 creatures.
Tell me what it is. And
I wanted to cast 8 on all of us, but because it lasts 8 hours.
I will say, with the magic that's permeating the land and the ritual that you've done, as you attempt to cast a spell, you notice that it seems to be a little more powerful than you expected, and you can cast it on everybody.
Thanks, Nikki.
You're welcome.
Because it's not even that good. It just would be flavorful. This spell sucks.
Exactly, and I think with
upcast
what
it.
you guys
I am
have
upcasting
done,
it.
I think that being able to cast 8 on everyone is sure.
So everybody would just
Wow.
get that. If it was upcasted, I'm happy to take the extra hit. Everybody gets
Just do
an
Lowest
increase
level.
of like 10 hit points.
10 temporary hit points. Yeah.
10
Yeah.
hit points.
I need a long rest. I forgot.
It's actually hit point max.
Oh, shit.
But and it's for
better.
8 hours.
That's pretty good.
So
Oh, so not temp, max.
No, max.
I'm even willing to take a second spell slot. Like, you know
That's
what I mean?
fine.
It's just like
That's fine.
this spell is. Come on, man. Who's playing a? I got a lot of friends, and they're only gonna let me target 3 of them.
It's a big party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And I've felt that way with Iris sometimes, where it's like, I can cast aid, but like I can't get everyone that needs it.
Yeah.
And like you feel like, you're so powerful, you should be able to do it. Like, yeah.
Thank you.
How do you?
We
how do
good.
you?
So you click on your HP,
Yeah.
and then it says HP modifier.
Yeah.
Just do 10.
10.
Max HP modifier.
Yeah, and then when you put it in there, it's gonna automatically add 10 to your maximum
It didn't
HP.
do it.
No, click
Did you
away.
hit-
Click
did you
away.
hit
So
enter?
you don't get
Click away.
them
Now
then.
it is.
enter.
Oh, you have to click away.
Click away.
No, it worked for you right there, but see, look.
10.
No.
Put it in.
It didn't work here. D&D Beyond, everybody.
DDBR.
No, it really is just Derek. And
Total hit points. No, it works.
No. I know that it worked
Son of a
now.
bitch, Darren.
Derek, you dummy.
I'm gonna take 8 points of healing. I'm back to max.
Yeah, it increases
I was
your...
at max before, but
Yeah,
I'm back.
All right. Sorry, Nikki. I cast aid, and it's red and vampiric and scary, and it's definitely not like the Morning Lord's light.
What the fuck, Marius?
no, it is like a shower of rose petals that fall down around all of you as you
Probably
cast the
smells
spell. You expect the sparkling light of dawn, but it is this soft showering of petals that alights across everyone's skin, and you all feel invigorated, emboldened, and just a little bit stronger than you had before.
Anybody who was close to me while I was casting the spell would have just heard me whisper the phrase, "Please protect us."
Anyone who's near me would hear me whisper, "American Beauty was a pretty good film."
Anyone who's near me would hear me like kind of whispering under breath. Maggie McDuff, medicine in a glass, into your mouth you should pour. Oh, that's terrible. And my name is Old Jericho Sticks. It's a little Sticks joke for you. Great band.
Beautiful. And that is what happens as you do begin to slow down. You feel trepidatious. You are unsure what to expect. Will they even let you into this city? Will there be a mob of people at the gates that call out and alert that you are here? Do you risk being absolutely bombarded and accosted the moment you reach the gates? And there is quiet as you finally get to the cobbled road that leads into Cyril itself. But there is no one at the gates. Seems like everyone is off towards the very center of town. You slowly make your way through the streets, the wooden wheels clacking on the stone. And no one pays much attention to you. Eventually, as you get closer and closer into the city, you begin to see more people, and they do notice you, and they look shocked and surprised, but they don't look angry. They begin to dart deeper into the city, almost as rushing to tell someone or to talk about it, but none of them accost you. And you realize why. As you get to the very center. I don't know why this music is so dark and spoopy.
It's doing a lot of work, Nikki. It's doing a lot of work.
Well, it's not supposed to be doing this kind of work.
Oh, okay. All right.
Do Stormwind.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do Stormwind. Stormwind 1 hour music.
I mean Cyril's theme.
Yeah, Cyril's theme. Sorry. And you realize why as you finally make your way to the center of town. You hadn't noticed the black carriage at the gates. But you realize now that you should have. You see Philip Druskenwald surrounded by a gaggle of Ceruleans as his coat has been removed, sweat is breaking through his white undershirt, his hair is tied back as he helps men and women alike as they are excavating and clearing out the ruined cathedral. You see as he occasionally jumps up on a soapbox and calls out orders for different areas to be cleaned and for people to do things, and you see that the town is, all that noise that you heard wasn't the sound of people fighting or of fear, but was of hope. As the people of Cyril have rallied behind the Lord of this land to clean up this city. And it is a shocking sight. This is the man that you met at the train station, the man that took you to the crooked house. This is the man that seemed so out of touch with everything that was going on here. And yet, the very sweat on his back shows that he is putting in the effort to help this city in its time of need. And as he is calling out for people to clean up some areas around one of the broken down housing units, he spots you, and he calls out. He calls out to you. The heroes of Cyril have arrived. Let's welcome them with open arms. And you begin to see as people look nervously and clap, but this is Philip Druskenwald. They will listen to this man. And your reception is the exact opposite of what you had expected. As the people of Cyril welcome you home as heroes.
Gosh!
I have a genuinely shocked look on my face.
Yeah.
What?
I
Me
don't
too.
understand. What's he playing at?
I'm not sure.
Lord Drusk, it's me, old Jericho Sticks. You can call me Jericho. Remember me? We met a few weeks back. Remember me?
You watch as he leans down and he whispers in the ear of
pull up my hat.
an elderly gentleman next to him that's helping to remove a bunch of the rubble. He grabs a shovel and hands it to him and clasps his hand, smacks him on the back jovially, and you watch as he jumps down off of the box, the soap box, spins his cane in his hand and uses it as he continues to, or as he walks towards you as the wagon rolls up into the town center. He doesn't make a move to talk to you just yet as he helps Maggie quickly out of the carriage and begins to help to hitch up the wagon to one of the many hitching posts in the middle of the city. And once everything is set there, he looks towards you all and he begins to say, well, you may not have cleared the town of witches, but it looks like you did a good thing for Cyril by getting rid of that old archbishop. Can't say you cut the head off of the snake, but I gotta thank you for what you've done. I arrived here just after you'd left, and I've been doing the best that I can to get the townsfolk to calm down. They were quite in a tizzy.
We come bearing medicine.
Ha! That's good to hear. The townsfolk here are looking sickly and tired. They could definitely use something to perk up their spirits. We got a lot of work ahead of them. They're gonna get Cyril to what it needs to be. A shining beacon of one of the many places in Druskenwald that I, Lord Philip Druskenwald, oversee.
Oh yeah, we know who you are. We've heard of you. You're quite famous and
Oh,
powerful.
you've met me. We're friends, Jericho.
Hey, you're real rich folk, Giant.
I'm like awkward again. I have my hat off. I'm like looking down. I'm not making eye contact.
Hey, Philly, I have a question for you.
He walks over to you and he leans on his cane and looks at you. I'll answer it if I can.
Oh no, it's about a horse over there. No, I'm kidding. I've been waiting to say that for like 2 years. How did you
There's a horse over there. Hey! You're an
Holy
idiot.
shit.
I just had to get that out. No, I'm talking to you. Hey, so did you hear about everything we did?
Yeah, I heard about quite a few of the things that you did. Now, you didn't kill the witch, which is the unfortunate thing.
No, we didn't.
So it does mean you're going to be here for a little bit longer. You've got a big task ahead of you. I'm not going to be able to give you your prizes just yet because you haven't fulfilled the deal. But I can, and I have, had time to work on the masquerade, so you've got invitations to it. And it is there that I'll show you I have what I said that I have. And my lovely wife Adela has been working on your house. And it's nice and clean. It's ready to go for you. And once we're done here, I'm going to take you there and you can see exactly what she's done.
Well, that's so mighty generous of you, Lord Druskenwald. That is an genuine honor. Oh, Jorgrim, you're helping distribute the medicine already.
Go long.
And you do notice that that Betty has shown up and has been working with Flora and Maggie McDuff and Jorgrim to begin passing out some of these potions. With Philip standing here next to you, there are people lining up around the town already to take this. You see that there are about 15 people that have already consumed some of the potion. The bags under their eyes are gone. The gauntness in their faces have subsided. The sallowness of their skin, you watch as it dissipates and rosiness returns to their cheeks. The lethargy that they had been feeling quickly begins to subside, and you see smiles. You see happy, healthy, comfortable civilians of Cyril for the first time since you've been here. And as you continue to have this conversation with Philip, you can tell that the overall feeling of the town has improved tenfold. You have done something good. You have done something to help these people. You have freed them from the tyranny that they had been, that they had found themselves enslaved to. You have freed them from the shackles of sin that they had been bound by. You freed them from some of the poverty that they had experienced, and you have brought Philip to them in a way that they hadn't experienced before. And you see on nearly every face hope.
Well, I'm glad they got the corpse of the Archbishop cleared away. That was mighty gruesome.
It was. It was thanks to the big fella that we were able to do that. He's out and about, taking the big rocks out into a quarry out back.
Hugo buried the Archbishop?
He did. It was tough for him. Poor guy had tears in his eyes the entire time, but he did it. He's a strong one, that one.
Yes,
Did
he
you know
is.
about the Archbishop?
I knew he was here.
But you didn't know what he was.
That he was
What
a
he was
gluttonous old
doing to
fool?
this
No.
town?
No, I didn't. If I had known, I wouldn't have kept him in power.
Well,
Can I insight check him? I just want to roll dice.
This is the first die roll of the night.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I don't think so.
Oh, he's lying his ass off.
Okay.
What did I do?
Insight.
Damn it. That's not as good. 21.
That's pretty good.
yeah.
He seems to be genuine. You know him to be a little bit aloof, and so it doesn't seem out of the ordinary that he would, having someone in power, he would just assume, especially a holy man like the Archbishop was, that he would assume that this man isn't going to do this kind of thing, and that as long as someone was there to guide Cyril, and Cyril seemed to be doing well enough, he would have the time to do what he wants to do, which is throw masquerades and spoil his wife.
Okay.
And so it's more a
Oblivious, not malicious.
oblivious ignorance than willful ignorance.
Okay.
Like, what is that? Like egregious, like incompetence or something?
Yeah.
What's the term for
The
that?
chart.
Yeah.
Negligence, like nearly criminal negligence.
Yeah. That's fair.
Criminal negligence, yeah.
But I mean, it is from what you see here. You can see that a huge portion of the rubble of the cathedral has been cleared away for them to create something new in this space. A lot of the homes that had been damaged by the falling rubble and the fires that had been starting and the riots in the street have been patched up and repaired, all in a short amount of time, as Philip has somehow been able to rally the town together under the beacon of hope to get Cyril cleaned up. And though he very clearly has his faults, he does know how to lead. And it is surprising, but a welcome change in him.
Lord Philip, we don't mean to be rude. We're just all a bit taken aback. This is very serendipitous. We were worried that we would be hunted down, given the events that have transpired here.
Well, when I arrived, the townsfolk were ready to quarter you and hang you. They were having none of your monstrous facades, and it took quite a bit of convincing for me to get them to rally behind me. They know that I am the lord of this land, and my word is law. And I sent you here.
Well, we appreciate your help, and quite frankly, we do just want to help them. We're very appreciative of it.
And they know that now. And I think what you've done with these elixirs to cure them of whatever sicknesses these witches have pumped into this land, I think that goes a long way to gain their goodwill.
Thank you for vouching for us. But the thanks for the potions should go to one Maggie McDuff.
That's right.
He looks over. He hasn't. He helped her out of the wagon and assisted her in at least the beginnings of passing out the potions or the elixirs. But he hasn't really given her a second glance since then. And it is as you say this that he looks towards her and sizes her up a little bit. You don't say.
All we did was deliver them. She was the one who was able to produce them.
At great personal cost, no less. She put herself in self-imposed exile.
Well, if anyone asks me who they can attribute the health of the city to, I will let them know it was one Maggie McDuff.
I think overall in our time here, she's been one person who's been strong, forthright, and trustworthy. She'd be a fine person for the people of this town to lean on.
Well,
in the absence of...
I guess this town is going to need a leader. I don't know if it can be Maggie McDuff, as she doesn't have the lineage. But the sister of the Archbishop, she would do well. Suit the role?
I've had my hat off. I just put it back on and take it off. She was a real nice lady. Emphasis on was.
Jesus.
Jericho's just cuss. Emphasis on words.
Jericho.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm feeling a lot of mixed emotions on account of everyone smiling at me and being friendly. I normally, whenever there's a mob that's surrounding me, it's usually on account of them wanting to burn me up. Anyways.
Speaking of burning up.
She lost her head. It was the
Well,
witch.
does she have any other kin? Brothers? Sisters?
Young Colette! The little one! She's a little, I'll look into the wagon.
He looks around. He doesn't lower his eyes. The idea of a child existing doesn't seem to register to him as a thing. As he looks around looking for maybe a young woman or a young adult. Well, if you can show me this Colette, I'd be more than happy to name her as leader of Cyril.
Well, you must understand. She's a bit traumatized at the moment, and a bit young.
How young? What, 23?
She's like 10.
What?
10,
I
9,
think she's a bit younger than
12,
She's like 8.
8.
She's 8,
Like
Briggsy.
7 or 8.
She's a
7 or 8,
little child.
Briggsy.
Now, where I come from, it's not unusual for us to have young rulers, but they're generally trained from birth.
Well, this will not do. We can't have a 4-year-old taking care of the city.
8.
What?
It is a good opportunity.
Yes, you're right. 4.
It is a great opportunity, however. She could learn leadership from stewards to watch over the city and guide her and show her the way of running it until she is old enough to take it responsibly.
So what is it that you suggest, then? We make her the leader and she does it on her own, or you want someone to oversee her?
She should be the leader, and she should have guides who can help make sure her power is responsibly used until she is ready to wield it herself.
Like Maggie Macduff.
Well, there's nothing saying that... trying to do your accent.
You're shifting gears.
It's really hard.
That's rough.
There's nothing saying that Maggie Macduff can't be a caretaker in the meantime. She could be like a vizier,
Exactly right.
a right-hand man,
A regent.
a regent. There you go.
A right-hand woman.
Right-hand woman.
An interim monarch until the proper descendant comes of age.
The same monarch who produced the medicine that was able to heal so many.
And while she waits for the return of the king or queen, she can act as steward and oversee the town and eat cherry tomatoes disgustingly and have a sweet tooth and... Oh no, that just sort of repeats the whole problem.
Briggsy, we're trying to avoid the history repeating itself.
I think...
Briggsy brings up a good point. Have you seen Maggie eat cherry tomatoes?
Foul.
Well, we shouldn't judge people based on how they eat. She's a woman of the woods. That's how you eat them in the woods.
She doesn't chew them. She just...
Well,
Hawks them down like a snake.
They never pop.
and she'll have the best caretaker and bodyguard in the whole world, and the person who knows the Cyril inside and out in the greatest, who should be arch-regent, Hugo.
Oh.
He should be appointed and also given all sorts of sweets and treasures and toys and a special mansion. Do they have mansions here?
I don't know, but he could stand for a domicile. He could walk through the door.
Hugo should be rewarded for his heroism, though I know not why Jericho thinks he should be leader of this city.
Well, he knows his way around town.
I'll have a conversation. God, I'm doing it again. Have a conversation with her and see if it's what she wants to do. If she wants to be the regent, I don't see any reason she can't. If she wants to protect the little girl, I see no reason she can't.
Thank you.
You hear that, Colette? You're gonna be a lady of the Crescent Court. You're gonna be wielding great political power. You get to come to a masquerade, and we'll all be there. I'm old Jerry.
Cut to Colette. cut to Colette.
Oh, God.
You
Bring
watch.
your bunny.
You watch as Philip makes his way towards Maggie and begins to explain the situation to her. As they turn and look towards Colette, who's still sitting in the back of the wagon. She's staring at a spot on her dress as she plays with the hem, completely oblivious to everything else that's around. The only thing catching her attention occasionally is Flora being as adorable as possible. The only thing that really brings a smile to her face. And she is very clearly still deep within the pains of the trauma that she's experienced in this place. As Philip makes his way towards her, he leans in and begins to whisper something into her ear. You see her perk up, and she looks around. She seems almost shocked by what he's telling her. None of you can hear the conversation they're having. But eventually you see as she smiles up at him, he takes her little hand and he places a small kiss on the back of her hand. And then he takes his cane, his goat-headed cane, and he whirls it around in his fingers and points it towards her, and a floppy pope hat appears on the top of her head, completely dramatic and silly, and she giggles and falls over laughing as he reaches down and tickles her a little bit, picks her up, kisses her on the cheek, and places her next to Maggie. And he kneels down, he points with his staff, telling her about the city and the domain that she now rules, and she seems to find purpose in this. And you can see that she there's something within her. Maybe it's the legacy that she's taken, that she has a piece of her mother inside of her that she gets to carry on in this town and make her mother proud. But whatever he said to her, it seems to have, though it hasn't completely cleared the shadows from her eyes, it seems to have at least gotten her on the right path.
All right, okay.
All right.
And it is at this point that the city is in full repair mode. Men and women are working to remove the rubble. Maggie and Colette, as well as the children from the bakery. Betty and Ben. Betty and her brother, and even both of their parents are there helping to hand out elixirs. You see that they have brought a few of the horses over from the stables, and they have included harnesses that have trays on the side filled with elixirs, and the horses are going up and down the line, providing elixirs. They have this streamlined way of delivery, and everyone is happy and healthy and comfortable. As Philip makes his way over to you, his jacket thrown over one arm, his hat carried in one hand, as he looks at all of you. Well, it seems like we've done as much as we could possibly do for Cyril. And you have a house to get to. My dear Adela is not going to stay patient forever. She's been extremely excited to show you what she's done. You won't even recognize the place. If you're ready to go, I would suggest you say your goodbyes. We'll go ahead and get into my carriage, and I'll take you to your home. You can get a good night's rest there. I think you've done all you can for Cyril. At this point, it's up to the citizens to keep it up to stuff.
All right.
Gosh. All I wanted to do was leave, and now I'm kind of sad to go.
Well, it's like he says, Jericho, we have no further business here.
Yeah.
We have other places to attend to. We have more evil to slay.
Yeah.
That's right. Remember why we were here in the first place. What he's promised us.
That's right.
Is Witch Stomper gonna come with us?
That could be arranged if you really want to have him.
Oh, no, I do very much if that's an option.
That's
Well, give
Ben's
me a
little
moment.
pony.
Ben's
Oh
pony.
my, you're
you
like
can't have
evident
him.
domain Ben's horse.
No, you will!
You watch as Philip.
Always a pirate.
You watch as Philip goes over and begins to talk to the Baileys. And at first you see little Ben as he protests. And then Philip sends off a runner. And with him, you see one of Philip's large black stallions that drives his carriage. as this man leads him towards Ben. And Ben looks up in wonder at this gigantic horse. And you watch as Ben looks between this horse and Little Witch Stomper, and this horse and Little Witch Stomper. He nods his head, and with a big handshake, he makes the deal with Philip to trade Witch Stomper for this giant stallion.
Businessman.
And
Legend.
Ben hands the reins of Witch Stomper over to Philip. He walks Witch Stomper over to you. A show of good faith. My horse for this. And passes you the reins to Witch Stomper.
I'm gonna name you Witch Annihilator.
That's exactly, that's exactly what you hear.
Oh my gosh, thank you, that was amazing. So Witch Stomper's mine 100%, I don't even have to steal it.
He's all yours. Thank you for what you've done to help this city.
I'll get down on one knee. See, he never cared about you. He's forgotten all about you. You've been completely replaced.
He starts to strut in place like in Shrek 2 with when he turns it doesn't matter.
Well, Miss McDuff and Colette, you're gonna do a great job here. I just know it. And if you're lonesome, I can send Virgil to come say hello. And we'll tell you all about. I'll relearn that spell where I could communicate you with my mind that I seemingly forgot after dying, coming back. Thank you for everything you've done.
You are able to say your goodbyes. They can't step away for too long, but Colette does run up to each of you and give you a big hug. Tiny tears rolling
I tell her
down
I hope
cheeks.
to see her soon.
And she timidly tells you that she is queen of the city, and that she's very excited to be the queen.
That's mighty impressive. I'll write a song of the great Queen Colette Mirabelle, first of her name.
And if you really need us, I'm sure you'll be able to reach Lord Philip. He can reach out to us, and we can always come back.
She looks up to you. I get to be at the masquerade.
Well, then we'll see you then.
I'm gonna dress as a unicorn.
I think that's lovely.
I get to have a horn on my head. Because unicorns have one.
Just one.
Yeah, that's why it's uni.
Exactly right.
Corneo.
Unicornis, yes. Yeah. High five.
I read a book about them once.
Well, there's probably many
Well,
books that you own
My
now in
mom
your queen's
read
library.
a book about them once. She loved unicorns. Just not as much as she loved me.
Damn straight.
Yeah. I'm gonna make her proud.
I know you are.
I'm gonna keep Cyril safe. And it will be good.
Your responsibility is to these people, yes, but also to yourself, to make sure that you are strong and wise and grow up able to fight the evils of this world.
Yeah. Heroes come in many colors. And I'm gonna be a hero on my own. A hero for my home. Just like my mom would want.
I'll give her one last hug.
Oh,
I
get me dirty.
don't
I'm
feel
a
it.
queen.
I don't feel any particular sort of way about unicorns.
Takes a big swing around. Well,
They're all right.
Jesus.
I guess,
Unicorns are fine.
I guess all that's left is to say goodbye to Hugo.
You see that Hugo is in the very depths of the rubble pit that is the cathedral. Colette has not come into contact with him yet. He seems to very much be keeping his distance from her, and you imagine that will be a conversation that has to happen at some point. You don't imagine you will be around to see it, but Colette seems stronger, and you know that Hugo has guilt for what he's done. You can only hope that they will be able to come to some sort of understanding between the two of them, though it will be difficult and it will be many years of healing that need to happen. It does seem like Colette is the kind of child that will be able to find forgiveness. You make your way, you say goodbye to Maggie, you say goodbye to Colette. They continue about their duties as you make your way over to Hugo. He doesn't notice you at first, but eventually as he's heaving a giant pillar up and out of the pit and into a rubble pile, he'll eventually be moving to the quarry. He turns and he sees all of you, and the smile that alights on his face is gigantic. As he stumbles over the rocks as he's trying to rush over to you. And as he does, he slips a little bit but rights himself, and he rushes towards all of you, and in his big arms, he smashes you all together in a big Hugo hug. Hugo miss friends. Hugo work.
Hello, Hugo. How are you? It is good to see you doing well.
Friends help?
Did you get Did you get my letters?
Hugo read pictures.
Yes, exactly right. Are you okay? Is everything okay?
Hugo work. Hugo help.
You are.
Hugo happy.
Happy for you, Hugo.
Yes,
I'm so proud of you.
Hugo, this is wonderful, but please, could you please put us down, separate us, please?
Hugo, one more minute. He shakes you all together as he hugs you. Oh, Hugo down.
I actually kind of like it. Oh,
He puts you all down.
As soon as he puts us all down, I take a few steps back from the rest of the group. Are you going to be all right?
Hugo, friends home. Hugo happy.
Oh, God.
That is very good to hear, Hugo. I am glad that you were able to find work and that you were able to find happiness.
He reaches out and he runs his big hand along your cheek. Hugo love Lessica.
I love you too, Hugo.
He smiles and just looks at all of you happily. His face is it has a softness that you haven't seen before. It's almost as if removing the remains of the Archbishop and cleaning up this place and really living in the hope that is being created here. He is working one stone at a time to overturn the guilt that he holds in his heart and to turn that into something good. And you can see that weight is beginning to lift off of him, and he looks happy.
Hugo, we're so happy to be your friends. And we're gonna go away for a little while.
You see his brow furrow. He seems confused. Hugo, confused.
Miss Macduff is gonna stay here with you. And you've got a big job taking care of Colette. It's just that we've got some other work that we have to do, so we're gonna go away for a while.
Yes, we found our own job.
Hugo, come with friends?
No, you have the work that you need to do here. And it will be all right. We will visit often, and soon.
What if hate Hugo?
No, never. Impossible. I just told you that I loved you, and that's true for everyone here, isn't that right?
Hate Hugo.
No.
no, we don't hate you, Hugo.
Oh, me?
He's pointing to the town folk.
They don't hate you, Hugo.
Protect Hugo.
You are under the protection of Maggie.
That's right.
And-
Miss Macduff is here for you.
He looks over towards her, and it's almost as if she knows what's happening here. She looks towards Hugo, and she smiles and pats her heart, and looks towards him and makes the sign of a heart. And he smiles. Maggie, Hugo, friend.
Yes, but here's a little secret.
And I'll lean up and I will sort of put my hand behind Hugo's neck and just sort of whisper into his ear.
Hugo is strong. Hugo
Strong.
able to protect himself. Hugo loves himself.
Hugo, love Hugo.
You're going to be okay. And I'll step down.
He huffs a little and he looks around. He's sad. He kicks his feet a little bit, trying to put together all the pieces in his mind. How his friends could come home, and he's so proud to show you what he's done, who he's becoming. But then also the sadness he feels thinking about you leaving.
Hugo, trust friends. Friends visit Hugo.
Of course.
All the time.
And hey, we may see you at the masquerade, so start thinking about what mask you want to wear.
Ooh.
Hugo want be bunny.
That's a great
And
choice.
you see as he
Well,
looks
gosh.
over at Flora and smiles a little bit. You can tell he's quite enchanted by her.
Hugo would make a great bunny.
Hugo like bunny ears.
You can jump across the city like a bunny too.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
You see as he does jump a little bit, the foundation shakes. But he seems pretty happy about it. He rushes over and once again squeezes all of you. You see tears roll down his face a little bit.
Friends know best. Hugo listen. Hugo good.
Hugo very good.
Hugo protect. Hugo miss friends.
We will miss you too. We are sad also to have to go.
You have friends in all of us. You real genuine friends, not just old Jericho Sticks, but the rest of us. And I know that train toy probably got lost in all the rubble, but we are gonna meet this Blinsky feller, and I'm gonna have him make you a big Hugo-sized toy train. And that's a Jericho promise that I just invented right now.
He seems very happy as you say this. His sadness does come back a little bit. He looks towards you, Lethica.
Hugo strong. Hugo must get to work. Goodbye, friends.
Goodbye, Hugo.
Goodbye, Hugo.
We'll see you soon.
Until next time.
Real soon.
He wipes the tears from his eyes and he sniffles. He has his ratty shirt on, and as he wipes the snot all down his shirt, it's not pleasant to watch. But he turns to you one last time.
Hugo love friends.
And then he turns back and jumps back down into the pit and begins to shovel rocks again.
I'm gonna miss it, guy.
I'm not good at goodbyes.
It'll be all right. He's grown a lot, and what you said is true. He can protect himself, and he can protect everyone here. This town is in good hands.
That's right.
You're right. He needs to be here and find purpose in work that isn't putting people in cages and smashing folk, and that's genuine happiness right there that I see.
I think if we no longer have any more business, we shouldn't delay.
You're right.
Let's check out our new mansion.
You're right. A new home.
All right, Witch Stomper. The time has come.
To bend at the knees.
To bend at the knees and allow me passage. He bends at the knees, and I will get on top of him.
His knees buckle. And he
trembles a little.
He trembles a little, but he rights himself.
Oh, you got it, you got it. What do you all think of his new figurehead? And I'll point at the silver Foltus statue. Pretty dashing, don't you think, for such a young pony horse such as him?
I think I've had my fill of Foltus.
I
It's just,
agree.
it's just like a silver guy. Can he be like a different saint or something? Is he like a patron saint of horses? How about Saint Viggo Mortensen?
It sort of rolls off the tongue.
It's quite catchy. Saint,
What do you
Saint
think?
Vigo?
What do you think, Witch Stomper? Do you ride in the name of Saint Viggo Mortensen? Yes, you do.
Well,
I know Witch Stomper was secured by Briggsy, but do any of us have transport, or how are we gonna?
No, you're going to take Philip's carriage.
Yeah.
That's what I assumed.
I'll ride alongside the carriage.
Well, I am sure looking for a nice bottle of sarsaparilla. Last one in is a rotten egg.
And with Philip by your side, you finish saying your goodbyes. As you begin to leave the city, Philip announces the new leadership, that Colette is the leader, but until she comes of age, Maggie Macduff will be standing in as her regent, and that they are under his protection. He says goodbye, and with hope in their hearts, the entire city of Cyril heralds you all as heroes. As they wave goodbye to you, they say their thanks. Betty runs over and gives you huge hugs and thanks you for everything that you've done, and tells you that she knew all along that you were the heroes. And she's glad that she didn't let the city change her thoughts on who you were, and that she saw you for what you really are. And it is with hope in your hearts that you walk out of this city for potentially the last time. As you make your way down the cobbled road and outside of Cyril proper, you find Philip's carriage waiting there. You make quick work of attaching Witch Stomper to the carriage, and he is dwarfed by the gigantic black stallion that stands ready to take the carriage. This horse is a beast, and it could pull the carriage on its own. Lucky for Witch Stomper. As you all pile into the carriage, and once again are reminded how much larger it is on the inside than the outside. I don't have the music queued up because I'm a dumbass. But the sounds of bluesy jazz plays, the smell of cigar smoke, the clink of glass and ice, as you all sit together with Philip Druskenvold in this lavish carriage. You have snacks, delicacies, drinks, and you're able to relax and ask questions and talk as the carriage rolls down the road and heads towards your home.
Yeah, and there's something that's gonna hatch out of the moon, probably. And Jorgrim's maiden gave her an awful curse and she ran away.
It's true.
And you do. You recount the entire tale of what happened in Cyril, and he seems interested, but not as interested as you would hope. Occasionally, as you're telling him information, he will interrupt you and talk about something interesting about the masquerade. Different hors d'oeuvres they're really happy about getting in. The new dress that Adela had custom made for the event, and how excited she is. The only times he seems incredibly interested is specifically talks about Mother Midnight, and making sure that you are all aware that you have invitations to the masquerade, but you're not going to be able to leave Druskenvold for a while. You do have to resolve the witch problem, but that he assures you with complete certainty that you will be able to see all of your artifacts in the flesh at the masquerade. You just have to wait a little bit longer for the masquerade to happen. You'll have your confirmation that he is truthful in his word.
Can I make an insight check?
Yeah, by all means.
Yeah, while he's telling us these things, Marius is unusually stone-faced. The rest of the group would not, like, they would know that Marius hasn't believed him from the beginning. And I'm still skeptical about this whole thing. So I'm just, like, taking it in. I'm just being very, like, I don't know, cold.
Deviled eggs and demon eggs? Gosh, that sounds delicious. Oh, Yugoloft eggs. Gosh, you really got the trifecta going.
13 different types of punch.
Yeah, do not eat those third eggs.
Yummy, yummy.
Eggs in my tummy.
I got a 26. Should I twist?
No.
Just checking.
What are you trying to
A 26.
Yeah, what are you trying to determine?
Whether or not he's being truthful about the things that he's saying.
Yeah, he seems to be very truthful.
Thank you.
Things that he's saying. And you are listening to all the things he's saying about being able to show you the artifacts, and there is no doubt in your mind that he has these artifacts at his home.
Sums up.
And that he will be able to show them to you.
See him.
It takes Your walk to Cyril was a long trek. It was over the course of an entire day. But this horse is almost at a natural speed, and it only takes you a few hours before you hear Philip call out that the house is just up ahead. You all lean out the sides of the carriage, and you see something that shocks you. There's no way that was the crooked. There's no way that was the house that you were given. A beautiful Gothic mansion rests in front of you with tended gardens, a beautiful entryway fit for a carriage like Philip's. Stained glass windows have been been recently installed. Brand new shutters put up and painted. The turrets that wind up towards the sky. Though it is beautiful, it looks brand new. There is still a slight crookedness to it, in a very Tim Burton-esque fashion. A very asymmetrical house, as it were. But it is beautiful. And it is unlike anything that you've ever seen. And if you didn't know that this was where the crooked house had stood, you wouldn't believe it. Because this is nothing like that horrific house that you had seen before. This is warm and inviting and beautiful and comfortable. And as the carriage comes to a stop, the door swings open, and you see in her beaded dress and her feathered headband, you watch as Adela, holding on to her long necklace, the planchette at the very end of it, as she's holding on to it, rubbing it. You watch as she bounces out of the house, all sways and giggles as she rushes down the stairs and wrenches open the door. Oh my God, I'm so glad you're here. I can't wait for you to see everything. The house is looking gorgeous. I gotta give you an entire tour. Hi, honey. What are you doing? You're looking so cute today. Oh, you got a little sweaty. You know how much I like it. And you watch as she climbs in a little bit and pecks him on the cheek. You know I want to stay with you, but you got a little bit of work to do. I'm gonna show them the house, all right? And he looks to her and he says, anything you want, honey. You know, I'd do anything for you, but you're right. I got a couple of letters that I got to respond to, and I got a few things to read about. So I'll stay here in the carriage. You give them a tour, and then you come out and see me, okay? I've missed you, sweet cheeks. And he grabs her by the waist, he pulls her in, gives her a huge hug and a kiss on the cheek, and he pats her on the butt as she jumps out of the carriage. Come on, you gotta follow me. I can't wait to show you this place.
This is unbelievable, what you've done.
Don't sound so excited there, Marius. I did all of this work just for you.
It's beautiful.
Look, I even put a stained rose on the door just for you.
I can't believe what I'm seeing. This is unbelievable. This is unreal. This work is amazing.
We're like genuine, rich, fine folk.
And you got a deed all your own. It's got your names on it and everything. You can name this place whatever you want.
Oh gosh, we should all vote on something. It's our headquarters, our HQ.
I've never lived in a house before.
Neither have
Not
I.
really sure what to make of it.
I'm sure there's a real nice closet you could eat off the floors in.
Oh, what about the vociferous Carmichael?
I'm not sure what it means, but if that's what you want to name it, I
That
think it's a
sounds
great
pretty
name.
badass, doesn't it?
No, not at all.
What?
I don't think that's going to work, Briggsy.
Vociferous Carmichael?
We have time.
Let's workshop it.
Fine, we
Briggsy.
can
We
workshop
have time.
it.
We haven't even spent one night in our
Yes.
new beautiful home.
We need to spend time with the house to let it tell us its name.
Yes.
Fine.
I don't think
Adela.
I trust anything that house would be saying to us.
Adela, please lead the way. We'll follow you, please.
All right, you're going to love everything about it. All the floors are waxed, all the windows are new. There were amazing doors. I tried to decorate rooms to suit each one of you individually because I think you're just going to love this place. And we're so thankful that you're here trying to help us with all of this. Our masquerade couldn't happen if it weren't for you. I can't wait for you to see the outfit I'm going to wear, too. It's going to be awesome. Okay, we're going to go inside. And she quickly hops up the steps, throws open the door. She turns around in the doorway. Well, come on, silly billies, let's go.
We're really moving on up, Virgil.
This house is just the berries. And she turns around and just storms straight into the house. You see her standing in the entryway as she stares up at the ceiling, a large chandelier there illuminated with candles. As you all make your way up the stairs and into this house, you're immediately met with the sense of incense and scented candles and all the things she's used to cleanse this place. She begins to talk very quickly about her process for exorcising all of the evil spirits and how this place is now completely entity-free, and it is going to be the most lovely place that you could possibly imagine. She talks about her window choices and her door choices and everything you can possibly imagine, that she's created a room specifically for seances and other things, because that's very important in a place like this. And as she continues to say all of these things, you don't notice that the temperature drops. You don't notice that the candlelight begins to dim. You don't notice any of this until the door slams shut behind you. And there's nothing but silence. Adela freezes as the candlelight goes out in this room, and then the next, and then the next, and the next, as every single light in this place is snuffed out, one right after the other. She freezes as she looks around nervously. You can see she's shaking.
I'm not sure what's going on here. I always wanted to meet a ghost, but not quite like this.
You hear on the door, and you see that Philip is outside of the door. He's trying the handle. He's trying to wrench the door open. Adela, honey, what are you doing in there? You okay? Honey, Adela, dear, what's going on? What's going on? She rushes to the door.
Oh, Phil, honey, I don't know what's going on. I'm so scared, baby. I'm so scared. It's fine. I'm with the heroes, okay? You go to the carriage. You just get away from the house, all right? I got everything I need. I'm gonna, whatever's happening, I can fix it, baby. I promise.
And he calls out to her, you better fix it, honey, because I need you, my darling. Don't you dare let anything happen to you. You can see for the first time true fear on his face as he looks through the window at the woman that he loves so much that he can't reach. As very trepidatiously he turns from the door, quickly looks back and reaches out towards her and chooses to trust her as he makes his way back towards the carriage. She turns from the door. She's shaking. You can see the tears welling up in her eyes. Her bottom lip begins to quiver with fear as she holds on to her planchette, and she reaches it towards her eye, and she begins to look through around the house.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
It's a good prank.
Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
And as she says this, you realize you are. This beautiful, pristine house that she has just made, you see tears in reality as you see the old crooked house peeking out through the brand new crooked house. And then it seals over, and in another place, the banister, which is beautifully polished, once again becomes dilapidated and broken and crooked. The candles flare up for a second and then snuff out once more. And then
God.
that same slamming against the side of the house.
Oh.
And then you hear a creaking above you, and then a creaking all around you. You're all facing the door for a moment as you hear the creaking coming down the stairs. You all slowly turn and look towards the banister, the railing, and you see something there you never expected to see. Billy Van Brunt.
Oh no.
Crooked. Shambling towards you. His teeth crooked, his neck crooked, his body twisted. As he looks out at all of you and says, "You'll be crooked too." And that is where we'll end the session.
Holy shit! Well done, Nikki. Thanks for running the session.
Halloween.
This has big vibes of there must always be a crooked man. There must always be a crooked house.
Can you stop DMing for a while and atrophy a little bit?